Welcome back to USA News Hub. Here, we bring you the latest updates, highlights, and breaking news from the world of sports. Stay tuned as we dive into today's top stories and key moments you don't want to miss. Medvedev says, "Shoo to Deja vu in Shanghai, our 4-win versus Tien tonight." We bring you a story of resilience, revenge, and redemption from the Rolex Shanghai Masters 2025, where Daniil Medvedev finally said, "Shoo to Deja vu," overcoming cramps, fatigue, and fierce resistance from young American star learner Tien in a late-night classic. This wasn't just a tennis match, it was a mental and physical battlefield. It was about facing your past, conquering your body, and rewriting the script of defeat into triumph. Let's dive deep into how Medvedev pulled off one of the grittiest wins of the 2025 ATP season, and what it means for his road to Turin. Before we relive the Shanghai Showdown, let's set the stage. Medvedev and Tien have quickly built one of the most intriguing emerging rivalries on the ATP Tour. Their previous encounters have been nothing short of epic and painful, at least for Medvedev. Earlier this season, at the Australian Open, Tien shocked the tennis world by defeating the former world number 1 in a 5-set thriller that finished just before 3 a.m. local time. That match was a turning point for both. Tien announced himself to the tennis world, while Medvedev was left searching for answers. Then, just 8 days before Shanghai, they met again in the Beijing semi-finals, where Medvedev was forced to retire with cramps during the deciding set. That memory haunted him. Coming into Shanghai, the Russian star admitted he couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu, the fear of history repeating itself. Medvedev, however, has always had a special relationship with Shanghai. He was the 2019 Shanghai Masters champion, a city that saw him rise to global stardom. Returning here 6 years later, he was determined not to let his body or his past defeat him again. Set 1. Medvedev's patience pays off, 7-6. The first set was a battle of tactics, endurance, and nerves. Both players exchanged early holds of serve, with Medvedev showing his trademark deep return position, several feet behind the baseline, trying to neutralize Tien's speed and shot dash, making d5-4. Medvedev served for the set but failed to close it, with Tien breaking back to level at 5-all. The tension was palpable. Tien was fearless, striking early in rallies, while Medvedev relied on consistency and intelligent shot placement. Eventually, the set went into a tiebreak, and it was there that Medvedev's composure made the difference. He won the key points, mixing pace and direction smartly, to edge out the tiebreak 7-6 after 67 minutes of high-quality tennis. This first set victory was crucial. It gave Medvedev a mental edge, and perhaps a small sigh of relief. But as we would soon learn, the battle was far from over. Set 2, Deja vu strikes again, 6-7. The second set began with Medvedev in complete control. He broke Tien's serve early and quickly raced to a 3-0 lead. At that moment, it looked like the Russian might cruise to victory in straight sets. But that's when the drama began. Suddenly, Medvedev's right leg started to stiffen. Cramp, the same issue that had ended his Beijing campaign, was back. His movement slowed dramatically, and his face showed signs of agony. Between points, he limped and stretched, desperately trying to shake it off. Across the net, learner Tien smelled opportunity. The 19-year-old American, part of the #NextGenATP group, began to push the pace. He attacked short balls, used his drop shots wisely, and targeted Medvedev's movement with precision. Despite clearly struggling, Medvedev somehow dragged the set into another tiebreak, but by then, his body was betraying him. He could barely move, his serves lacked power, and Tien dominated the tiebreak 7-1 to level the match at 1-all. As Medvedev limped to his chair, the echoes of Beijing returned. Commentators wondered if he would retire again. It was that haunting déjà vu, the same body, the same pain, the same opponent. But this time, he refused to give in. Set 3, saying, "Shoo to the ghosts," 6-4. After the changeover, something shifted. Perhaps it was adrenaline, perhaps pure stubbornness, but Medvedev's body began to loosen up again. He started to move more freely, his shots found depth, and his serve regained some pop. Still, the frustration was visible. Medvedev muttered to himself, threw his arms up, argued with the air, classic Daniil behavior, but also a sign that he was alive in the fight again. The final set was a mental tug-of-war. Both players held serve until the 9th game, where Medvedev finally broke through. He capitalized on a couple of Tien's short forehands and converted the decisive breakpoint. Serving for the match at 5-4, Medvedev looked tense but focused. With the crowd rallying behind him, he fired one last strong serve, forced a Tien error, and collapsed in relief as the scoreboard flashed. 7-6, 6-7, 6-4, Medvedev wins. After 2 hours and 53 minutes of grueling tennis, Daniil Medvedev had finally overcome the teenager who had tormented him for months. And more importantly, he conquered his own body. This was more than just a victory, it was a psychological triumph. Medvedev has often spoken about the mental side of tennis being the toughest challenge. Against Tien, it was a battle on all fronts: physical, emotional, and tactical. Physical challenge cramps can end careers mid-match. They don't just cause pain, they paralyze movement, timing, and confidence. Medvedev was nearly immobilized in the second set, his right leg barely able to support him. He took quick medical breaks, stretched between points, and even admitted later that he thought I was going to lose. But instead of retiring, he kept playing, not for the crowd, but for himself. That's the mark of a champion, refusing to accept defeat even when your body says stop. Mental fortitude throughout the match, Medvedev engaged in self-talk, sometimes muttering, sometimes yelling, but always fighting the urge to quit. This inner battle is something we see only in elite athletes, the duel between mind and muscle. He later said, "For me to beat him, I thought I was going to lose. I was cramping again and I'm just super happy to manage to do it." That quote perfectly sums up his mental state, full of doubt, but unwilling to surrender. After the match, Medvedev was generous in praise for his young opponent. "I think the toughest part was that we played 2 times before, and in my opinion, he is an unbelievable player. He doesn't have a great serve, and serve is so important in tennis. Without it, he's 19 years old, 30-something in the world, and only going up. He feels the game so well. There are so many guys who just hit strong with every ball, but he doesn't have that serve, and still, he manages to play so good without it. I thought I was going to lose, but I'm just super happy to manage to do it." That's high praise from a former world number 1, and a testament to the kind of player learner Tien is becoming. Even in defeat, learner Tien walked away with his reputation enhanced. Next up, a clash against Alex de Minaur, the 7th seed, who defeated Portugal's Nuno Borges 7-5, 6-2 earlier in the day. Medvedev's road to Turin, the ATP Finals, is now very much alive. Oh, what's next for both players? 4. That's all for today's update on USA News Hub. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest sports news and highlights from around the world.